Good afternoon, class 12. Today we are going to start with the organic chapter haloalkane and haloarine. Please listen to the things very carefully because a very important part of your syllabus will constitute of only organic. So be aware of that and study well for this one. First we will be studying about what are haloalkanes and haloarines. Next we will be seeing the significance of learning this chapter. Third we will be seeing about the classification of haloalkanes and haloarines. Next we will be seeing the nomenclature of these compounds. And fifth we will be seeing about the nature of CX bonding. All these 5 things we are going to complete it today. So let's first start with what are haloalkane and haloarine. When you see haloalkane, it's nothing but halo and alkane together. So we know that all the alkanes will have hydrogen atoms attached to the carbons. If in any case the hydrogen atoms are getting replaced or substituted by a halo group, which can be either fluoro group, chloro group, bromo group or iodo group, we get haloalkane. For example, you see here it is methane. We know that the carbon has 4 hydrogen atoms. Any of the hydrogen, if it is substituted by any of the halo group, here it is substituted by a chloro group, then what we get is haloalkane, or here it is chloroalkane. Next we go for haloarine. Arene here nothing, it's just a benzene ring. I know you are more acquainted with benzene ring till now. You know that each carbon of the benzene ring will have hydrogen atoms. Any of the hydrogen atom, if it is getting substituted by a halo group, then we got a haloarine here. Here it is chlorobenzene. Next, we will be studying about the significance of learning these compounds. See, all haloalkanes and haloarines, most uses you will be seeing in pharmaceutical industries. More compounds will be seeing there. Okay. For example, the first one you see, chloramphenicol. The structure I have drawn, though you don't need to remember this. Chloramphenicol is a compound. Of course, you are seeing here it's a haloarine, which is used for the treating of typhoid fever. You must be knowing about typhoid fever. I don't have to tell it now. Now the second one is thyroxine hormone. Thyroxine hormone is also containing a halo group. It's a haloarine and it prevents goiter disease. Okay. The next significance of learning these compounds we'll be discussing. Chloroquine, that is used in the treatment of malaria fever, and also hydroxychloroquine. It's a derivative of chloroquine only. It was most probably in beginning it was used for the treatment of COVID-19. Next we will be seeing the DDT and BHC. These are the compounds which are actually used as insecticides. These are also haloarines. Next we will be seeing about the freon and chlorofluoromethanes. These are actually used as refrigerants. Many fluoro compounds are there which are used as substitutes for blood even, like perfluorooctane, perfluorooctane, like those. Next, many of those compounds are also used as a solvent for organic compounds. Next we will go for the more important thing, which is classification of haloalkanes and haloarines. There are various categories where we can classify these compounds. The first category is on the basis of the number of halogen atoms. On the basis of the number of halogen atoms, we just can easily classify them as, suppose this is bromobenzene, as you can see, one of the hydrogen has been substituted by bromo group, hence it is bromobenzene. And with respect to this group, if you find you have another group here, so you can simply name it as 1 and 2 position, and you can name it as 1 2-dibromobenzene. Or else you also know about the ortho meta para positions. So here you can also name it as ortho-dibromobenzene. With respect to this group, if you have two such groups on second and third position, then of course you will be naming it as 1,2,3-tribromobenzene. The next category is on the basis of nature of CX bonding. That is, halogen is attached to a carbon, of course, and based on the hybridization of that carbon, we are going to classify these compounds. So the first classification is when carbon is sp3 hybridized. When carbon is sp3 hybridized, then also we have three different classifications. It can be alkyl halide, it can be allylic halide, or it can be benzylic halide. In case of alkyl halide, what we will see is the halogen atom is just attached to a sp3 hybridized carbon, but that sp3 hybridized carbon can be 1 degree, can be 2 degree, as well as can be 3 degree. Now how to understand that whether it is 1 degree, 2 degree or 3 degree? That is the question. If the carbon is having 2 or more hydrogens, then it is 1 degree, as you can see here. Of course, this carbon is attached to the halogen. Okay, so this carbon has 2 hydrogens and hence it is 1 degree carbon. Now check with this one. This halo group is attached to this carbon. So if you check this carbon's hydrogens, number of hydrogens present, it's only 1. So it is 2 degree carbon. And if on that carbon there is no hydrogen at all, then it is 3 degree carbon. As you can find it here, this carbon to which this halo group is attached is now having no hydrogens with it. See, it is having no hydrogens. So it is 3 degree carbon. That's just the classification. But all of them are just sp3 hybridized carbon. Okay? It can be primary, it can be secondary, it can be tertiary. That is different. Okay? Now next we will be seeing the other classification, that is other category, that is allylic halide. Allylic halides are the ones where the halogen is actually attached to the allylic carbon. Now what is an allylic carbon? Understand that. The sp3 hybridized carbon next to the carbon-carbon double bonding is known as allylic carbon. What did I say? Doubly bonded carbons are these two. As you can find the double bond between these two carbons. Between these two carbons, okay? After this carbon is actually sp3 hybridized, as you can see here. All single bonds. So sp3 hybridization. This carbon becomes my allylic carbon. Okay? As halogen is attached to this carbon, so this becomes allylic halide. Similarly, see, these two are doubly bonded carbons. The next carbon is allylic carbon because it's a sp3 hybridized carbon next to the carbon-carbon double bond. As halogen is attached to this carbon, so this is also allylic halide. Next we come for benzylic halide. Now what is this? The sp3 hybridized carbon next to the benzene ring. C6H5 is a benzene ring. The next sp3 hybridized carbon is this one, of course. So this is my benzylic. Okay, this is my benzylic carbon. So as halo group is attached to this benzylic carbon, so it is benzylic halide. Okay. Next category is when halo group is attached to the carbon which is sp2 hybridized. So this again has two classifications. One is vinyl halide, the other one is aryl halide. in case of vinyl halide, what we will be seeing is the halo group is attached to the sp2 hybridized carbon. As you can see here, see, this halo group is attached to the doubly bonded carbon directly. And doubly bonded carbon means this carbon is an sp2 hybridized carbon. So this halide becomes vinyl halide. In case of aryl halide, the halo group will be attached to directly to the benzene ring. Benzene ring, each carbon is sp2 hybridized, as we know. So this becomes aryl halide. Okay. The next classification is where halo group is attached to the sp hybridized carbon. No such name is present for this compounds, but here of course what you can see is the halo group is attached to the triply bonded carbon. So this is the classification, of course, comes under the CsPx bonded ones. Okay. Next we'll be studying about nomenclature of haloalkanes and haloarenes. Two ways of namings are there. The first one is common name. Common name will be naming it as an alkyl halide. We'll find the alkyl group and we'll find the halide group. We'll name it as such. For example, if you see here, the alkyl group is what? Ethyl group. So we have named it as ethyl. 2 carbons, right? So ethyl group. And the halogen here is Cl. So Cl means it is chloride. Okay? So it is ethyl chloride. Similarly, here you have 4 carbons. So this is butyl alkyl. Okay? And this is bromide. IUPAC name, how you have to name it? First halo. The halogens have to be named as halo and then alkane. For example, you see what is a halo group present? Chloro. And the alkane which is present is ethane. Though it is ethyl, see, this is alkyl group only. But here you have to name it as a derivative of the alkane. So this alkyl group came from which alkane? Of course ethane. So this is to be named as chloroethane. Okay. Similarly, this has to be named as bromobutane. Okay. Next we will be seeing gem dihalides. Gem dihalides, these also have 2 other names. Okay, you have to remember those 2 names. This is alkylidene dihalide. This is alkylidene. Okay, you have to name it as alkylidene dihalide, or you have to name it as gem dihalide. Here what happens? On the same carbon you will have 2 halogen atoms. Okay, so in the case of common name you have to name it as alkylidene the halides. So this is ethylidene, for the example this one for which I am showing here, ethylidene dibromide, because 2 bromo groups are there, that's why. Okay, and for IUPAC name I don't have to tell it this one, because IUPAC name the same rules are there, because here we know that we have to number the carbon atoms. We have having 2 carbons, so substituents presenting carbon is this one, so you have to number it as 1 and 2. So what we'll get? On the first position we have 2 bromo groups, so it is 1,1 dibromo ethane, because 2 carbons. Okay. Similarly, if you see, next one is vicinal dihalide. In case of vicinal dihalide, what you will get is it's like adjacent carbons will have halo groups, as you can see here. Next, you can just substitute it with the hydrogens left. Okay, so this is the example. Okay, so you can see that the adjacent carbons are having not the same carbon as having 2 halo groups. So to name this, we can use this common name. We'll be using alkylene dihalide. Note the difference. In case of gem dihalide, it is alkylidene dihalide, and in case of vicinal dihalide, it is alkylene dihalide. Okay, so in this case, it is propylene, of course. So it is propylene dichloride. And IUPAC name, you have to go it in that way. Okay, you have to number the carbon atoms. So you'll get it as 1,2 dichloropropane. Next is aryl halides. with the benzene ring, as you can know that for the common names, you can go with chlorobenzene, metadibromobenzene, okay, in this way. But in case of IUPAC name, you have to number it, just the positions where you have two substituent groups, or otherwise chlorobenzene has to be named as chlorobenzene as well, okay, and this has to be named as 1, 2, 3, okay. So 1,3-dibromobenzene, in that case you will go like likewise. Next, the last topic is the nature of CX bonding. Here you have to understand that wherever you will have a halogen atom attached to the carbon, what happens? This is the formation of polar covalent bonding. Why polar covalent bonding? Of course, these are covalent bondings, as you can see. These are the organic compounds, carbon compounds. So carbon compounds are covalent compounds, of course. Why it is becoming polar? Because the halo group is actually more electronegative than carbon. So it can pull away the bonded electrons towards itself more. That gives rise to a slight negative charge. As you can see here, the electron cloud is pushed towards the halo group, and thus carbon develops a slight positive charge. Here one very important question is there, where you have to compare 4 compounds, which I'll write it here: CH3F, CH3Cl, CH3Br, and CH3I, of course. Okay. Here we have to discuss about the dipole moments of these molecules. See, the dipole moment is actually the product of the charge and the distance between the charges. Okay, as you can find it here. This is the charge and this is the distance between the charge. Now what we'll find is the dipole moment of CH3S is 1.847, while in the case of CH3Cl it is 1.860, CH3Br it is 1.830, okay, and CH3I it is 1.636. When we think about what is the relativity of this dipole moment, is actually going to decrease down the group. Why decrease down the group? Of course, the size of the atoms, halo atoms, if you see, that is going to increase down the group, because I is larger than Br, Br is larger than Cl, okay, and Cl is larger than F. So this factor, what you are going to see is mu is equals to E into D, right? That distance would increase, that is fine, down the group distance is increasing, but the charge is decreasing. This charge is coming from the electronegativity. We know that electronegativity of fluorine is 4.0, chlorine is 3.16, bromine is 2.9, and iodine is 2.6. So down the group, two things are happening. What are those? The charge on the halogens are decreasing, but the distance between the charges are increasing. So the dipole moment has to be the combined effect of those two. The combined effect, if we see, it actually has a tend to decrease down the group. Okay, it is going to decrease down the group. Why? Because the charge has more compensability, so charge decreases, and hence the dipole moment is also decreasing. Okay, but exception is these two. It has to decrease, but what we are seeing is CH3Cl is higher than CH3F. Why is that happening? That is happening because, as I have told you, it is the combined effect of these two things, charge and the distance. Okay, because in the case of CH3F, though the charge is more in the case of fluorine, but as it is very small in size, the distance between the charges is very less. this factor is also very less. Though that is more, this is very less. Hence, the combined factor for the CH3F is less than in the case of CH3Cl. Okay. So down, the normal trend is that the dipole moment has to get decreased because of the charge factor mainly. Though there is a increase in the distance between the charges, but the charge factor is prominent and hence it is decreasing. But the exception is in the case of CH3Cl versus CH3F, where CH3Cl is higher than CH3F dipole moment. That is because in case of CH3F, the distance between the charges is very less, though the electronic charge of fluorine is more, but the combined effect is shown greater for CH3Cl. Okay, so this question comes mostly it comes. Okay, it's very important. So that is what we are learned today, and I'll give you for some practice also. Okay, just check it on.